the Elizabeth Islands are just pretty wild. I mean, you look at the shoreline and you see coyotes, you see deer. One thing you don't see is other people. It's just a long, kind of remote-looking shoreline that holds big boulders and holds a lot of fish. It's got a lot of rich fishing history. It's early October and we're down along the Elizabeth Islands off Cape Cod. We got Cutty Hunk in the background right here. Nice rocky shoreline and some current movement, and we're gonna cast some eels. Should be some fall run bass moving along the islands right now. They're gonna stop and feed among the boulders, and we're gonna try and pick them off.
It is a little nerve-wracking when you're out here and you have an ocean swell and you get into a nice striped bass. The end game is really where it ends up being the challenge to it. But it is so cool because you're in here and you feel like you're at their level sitting on the water now, casting in there like that. It really is cool. All right, I want to get after it. It's just, we've got a beautiful day. Let's get in there.
I'm gonna head up to this boulder right up here.
Okay. With Kevin fishing in the Hobie Revolution and me fishing in the new Ocean Kayak Torque, both of us could fish while moving along without having to paddle. Kevin propelled himself by pedaling fins, while my Ocean Kayak was powered by a Minn Kota trolling motor. Closer to the shore, the better off. That's why I keep trying to slide in there.
The scenery is unbelievable. You wouldn't even think, a lot of people wouldn't even think this is Massachusetts. You got these bluffs in the background, rocky shoreline.
What's nice about it is I'm probably 50 yards off the shoreline here. This is Nashawena down along the Elizabeth Islands. Outside of me there's some mung, but I'm actually in so tight that there's no weed in here. So what's nice is I got the boulders, I got great clarity inside here, I've got all sorts of structure. I just keep throwing as tight as I can and pulling it off the rocks in here. What's beautiful about this, I'm going to kind of show you at home why kayak fishing here is so important and why you can get into areas where nobody else can. You hang with me right here. I got a huge boulder coming up ahead. I got to make a decision, inside or outside. I'm going to go inside here. That's the beauty behind fishing down the islands here. I got a big old boulder sitting behind me. I went inside of it, throwing live eels. I don't have to worry. In a boat, that would scare the heck out of me. I'd have to be outside of it. In here, I can still fish in tight. I'm not worried so much about that. Here we go, first one on. All right, well, I just cast, first cast out here with a live eel. I got a nice fish on right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn, direct my nose into the fish. We're throwing live eels in here among the rocks. Guys, taking for a little bit of a sleigh ride. This is one thing that's cool about kayak fishing. This is where it gets tricky with a kayak, the end game. Nice healthy fish. In a kayak, I'm gonna let this fish just go ahead and pull me around. Decent fish right below us. Oh, there he is. I'm fishing one of the new Cabo rods from Quantum. There he is. It looks like we're getting close to the end game here. Beautiful fish. Oh yeah, there he is. I'm fishing in amongst the rocks in here. Literally, first cast of the day. You gotta love this guy, huh? Gonna go ahead and see if I can let this guy go. Come on, fella. Oh, there he goes. Guys, you're watching On the Water TV. Chris Megan, Kevin Blinkoff fishing down along the Elizabeth Island. Kayak fishing. I have an Ocean Kayak. Kev's in a Hobie. He's throwing a big popper on the surface, and I'm throwing live eels, hanging with us. Just had a couple of casts, and we already got our first fish. I'm gonna get back at it. Kev, these conditions are perfect right now. I just got a whack right there, just got a nice whack. I was a little slow to the trigger, and that was my fault. I lost that fish. There's a nice fish right in here. I just got a thump, and I know he didn't feel the hook. I'm gonna try to see if I can't pull this guy out of here. When you come back, hopefully we set up on some more striped bass.
The Elizabeth Islands really are an incredible place. It ends with the island of Cuttyhunk here, and you can see the town there where some people live year-round, not many. And then right behind me is the island of Nashawina, where you look along the shoreline, you don't see any sign of people or houses. You see coyotes and you see deer. And it's really just an incredible landscape to think this is part of Massachusetts, that there's this much just wild, undeveloped coastline.
Can of Pits, it's just off my left side here. We got a beautiful rock structure. It's like a natural jetty. It's just chock full of rocks. I got rocks out to my right, left, and I'm just throwing in among the rocks and hoping for the best. In amongst the rocks, this is where they're most comfortable. They can ambush their prey. They love looking for lobsters, especially down here along the islands. It's one of their favorite meals. They can't pass up a live eel. If a live eel's drifted by them, they can't pass one up. Here we go. I just tied into a nice fish. This is the fun about kayak fishing right in here. This fish is in among the rocks. And the end game, as you can tell, one thing that's nice about this rod, I can clear my tip if he ends up going around the other side. Staying down, I see him right below me. He's going to the other side, just cleared him. Now he's hanging right on the front. Coming up to the surface. Gonna go ahead and bring him around. Little coobler, but he's doing a nice job keeping me turned around. Bring him right in. I got him buttoned right in the corner of the lip. Come here, fella. Come here, fella. Beautiful Elizabeth Island fish. Guy was pulling me around. That's what makes it so exciting out here. You never know what you're gonna get. From this size, this is on the smaller side of the fish, but a beautiful fish. I'm gonna get back in. Kev's in the sweet spot right now. Let me release this guy. We're gonna get back in there and see if we can't get into it. He's real green. He's gonna go right away. Oh, there he goes. Watching On the Water TV, fishing the Elizabeth Islands. Chris Megan and Kevin Blinkoff. Hang with us. We're gonna keep going. We've got a lot of water to cover. Because of my trolling motor, I can get in and out of the rocks. I can be hands-free, so I can really move right along and work in amongst the rocks and cover a lot of water in a short period of time without using the kayak paddle.
So I get propulsion by moving my feet and pedaling like this, and then the rudder is connected to a joystick right here on my left hand. So it's real easy to steer, decide where I'm going. You know, Chris, it's really amazing how it started off as fishermen using kayaks as a way to fish, and now you got kayak companies like this that are making kayaks specifically for fishermen. That's why we have these hands-free options. That's why I've got rod holders, places to mount gear. They've listened to fishermen and they realize that there's enough people out there that want to kayak fish, that they can make kayaks specifically for fishermen. Kayaks like these sit on top kayaks, perfectly at home in water like this. You can see there's a little bit of chop doing some ocean fishing here. They're sit on top kayaks so they can't get swamped. The waves can come right over the top. They're all going to drain away. There's nothing here. As long as the hatches are down, nothing can fill with water, so you can't sink. And they're great fishing platforms too, so you can use them to get in close and take advantage of how stealthy they are and how you can get into shallow water. Then you can also come off a bit here and do something like this, do a little bottom fishing. We're jigging right now to see if we can pick up some sea bass. So really versatile and really much more stable than people realize. Striper bite seems to be a little slow right now, so I think the current's close to slack. I'm gonna try and jig a little bit and see if there's some sea bass or tog around. Until the current picks up, maybe pick up some more stripers.
I'm not 50 yards offshore, and I actually have really deep water in here, so I've just dropped down to the bottom. I've got my eel hanging off the back. This is a nice stretch in here for black sea bass or to tog. So I'm just kind of bouncing along here. And it's funny, down along the island, you never know what you're gonna get. I have a beautiful drift coming through. I love this stretch right in here, right there. I just got a whack. Oh yeah, beautiful. We're in about 16, 18 feet of water. We're just off the shore. I'm gonna try to walk this guy around. Oh, there he goes. I think I got a black sea bass. Let me just take a look. Oh, nice, a nice tautog here. Beautiful tautog. That's one thing about the Elizabeth Islands. You never know what you're gonna get. Got a beautiful tautog in here. He's borderline keeper. Just fishing right off the bottom, guys. You got a little bit of eelgrass in here. You got all sorts of rock structure in there. I've got the live eel out the back. I decided to throw on a little jig, dropped it down the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy back in. Whoa, there he goes. Watching On the Water TV, fishing the Elizabeth Islands. Chris Megan and Kevin Blinkoff. Hang with us.
These are fun. Look at that. Now typically if I'm tog fishing, be on a boat with a bunch of crabs, have a big cutting board out, but in the kayak you kind of want to keep things simpler.
Yeah, what are you doing, buddy? You're switching it up a little bit, huh?
You know, the stripers got slow. I dropped down a jig and thinking maybe sea bass or something, but the tog are hitting the jig.
Well, you got a, what do you have, a tautog?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hit a Sebile fast cast jig in case we saw some albies.
Nice the second we've
fish.
got. I got one down there in the cove. That's an eater, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, I just dropped the jig down and got this tautog to hit. He's undersized, but yet another fish you can catch from a kayak. See if maybe we can get some keepers out of here too.
Look at the water clarity if you look underneath us at the structure down below here. Can you see the boulders that you're going over?
You can just imagine there's deep water around them, that there's plenty of room for a bass to hold.
I'm gonna go back to the bass. I've got a boulder off to my side here, the size of a Volkswagen van. Normally this thing right here would scare the living daylights out of any boater. What's nice, I can see it, I can slip around this thing, no problem. I've got a big boulder there, one dead ahead of the boat and a couple in here. This is one thing that's so cool about fishing the islands with a kayak. This is striper water that we're fishing in right here. It's beautiful.
Chris, I'm gonna keep casting up here. There's fish that'll hang out here and feed all through the summer, but they're just a little less active. Now that it's fall, they're getting ready to migrate. Should be more willing to hit a topwater plug or smash an eel in the daytime. And it's almost like freshwater bass fishing. Working a shoreline like this for bass, you can just drift with the current down through, and you're looking at structure, and you're actually targeting. You know, it's not fallen trees and lily pads. It's big boulders. It's rocky beaches and things like that. This is some place you just couldn't go with a motorboat. I'm actually behind these boulders right now and fishing this bowl here, this kind of deeper area between these rocks and those rocks.
I always find it funny that the shore anglers will swim out to the furthest rock and throw as far as they possibly can. And the guys in the boats, like the gentleman up ahead of us and the Jones brothers, will tuck the boat as close to shore as you can and cast up on the rocks. This stretch up here is just beautiful, beautiful water. I'll be shocked if either Kevin or I don't pick up a nice fish in here. I got a nice rock off to my right here. Anytime you see structure like that, you want to cast at it. Up here we call them stripers, but down south they call these things rockfish because they make a living on these types of boulders over here. So I'm going to just make sure I work both sides of it, and then I'll keep moving, come back in among the rocks over here. This in here is a great, great spot. We're coming into, there's a little bit of a hollow in here, and inside there, right when we clear these last rocks, there's some real nice eelgrass. So if you stay off a little further in there on this beach, there's some great eelgrass, great structure, really nice rocks in here.
I'm ready to try an eel. I'm not getting anything on the artificials. I'm gonna come around. You mind baiting my hook?
Nope. Fishing a straight shank, 6/0. I like to go a little bit smaller, keep the profile right around the eel's head.
Just through the lower jaw and out the eye socket?
That's all it takes. I'm using a fluorocarbon Seaguar leader. That's 50-pound as well. I don't usually go much higher than that. There you go. You're all set there.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Good, thank you.
You ready? And 3, 2, there we go.
There you go. I'm gonna go pitch him in along the shoreline and see what I can get.
Oftentimes I'll get these fish in 2 feet of water right on top of the shore. What's so exciting about it was when they hit, there's nowhere to go but either east or west or out towards us. One thing when you're fishing live eels, you want to let them just swim natural as possible, but you don't want them to find a home on the bottom. So all I'm doing is casting, slow retrieve. Just moving along. Every once in a while, I'll just slip the rod tip up. I just don't want him to find a home in among the rocks. So all I'm going to do is as slow as possible, just keep moving him along. Sometimes I'll move it along quick and I'll just let it sit. And those strikes sometimes will come right when I let it sit. Kev, I have a feeling I'm going to hook up on this corner.
Whoa, I just had a fish follow up right here.
You saw it right there?
Just came right up, but it was just following the eel. Turned at the boat, turned at the kayak, and I just saw the tail go.
That is so cool. Kev, this corner, all the way down around this corner, always fishes very well.
We had some nice boulders coming up here. And the drift is pulling us along perfectly. I can just keep going and just casting at boulders as I go.
I haven't had to touch it. This is perfect distance where you're at right now. I'm in a little close, but as long as you can kind of cast the shore, you're in great distance. Kev just hooked up on a real nice fish, not 20 feet from shore. He's getting a little bit of a Nantucket sleigh ride.
Around like
That's
that.
the beauty behind kayak fishing, Kev, right there.
Oh, this is fun. I like that he's swimming out now.
How fun is this? How fun is this?
Oh, he's a big fish. I don't want to drop him.
That fish hit right up shallow, right in the boulders.
This is where it gets tricky with a kayak, the end game.
Oh, that's a
yeah,
beauty.
Baby. Look at this beast. Over the last 20 years, I had fished the Elizabeth Islands many times by boat, but there was no comparison to fishing the islands in and among the rocks at sea level from the seat of a kayak. With the bluffs of Nashawina Island standing guard from the prevailing southwest wind, it was only a matter of time before we found what we were looking for.
That fish hit right up shallow, right in the boulders. He hit that eel, and when I set the hook, he was on the surface immediately.
Right in tight, huh?
Yeah, right in those rocks there.
Stay right with him.
He's running out, I like that.
Kev just hooked up on a real nice fish, not 20 feet from shore. He's getting a little bit of a Nantucket sleigh ride.
Around like
That's
that.
the beauty behind kayak fishing, Kev, right there.
Oh, this is fun. It's coming toward you. I like that he's swimming out now.
I'm gonna come around and see if I can't take a little glimpse of him, huh?
Oh, he's pulling drag.
How fun is this? How fun is this? I love these tour kayaks. Come up.
It's coming up. Look at that fish.
Look at him roll, huh? How beautiful is that?
Oh, that's a beauty.
I'm gonna come up on your starboard here,
All right,
Cal.
I'm gonna grab, I think I can get his lip here. There we go. There we go. Nice.
Oh, Cal, I'll grab this
Nice.
side for you.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Yeah, baby. Guys, I told you about this. I told you about fishing the Elizabeth Islands. I want to get down here with a kayak. I know you don't get down here as often as I do. Massive fishing among the shore.
What a cool fishery to get a bass like this out of shallow water on a bright sunny day.
We'll see you in 3 feet of water.
3
if
feet
that.
of water, just an awesome time. Thank you.
Kevin Blinkoff, Chris Megan, fishing along the Elizabeth Islands.
That's
A
my
big
biggest.
striped bass.
That's my biggest bass ever from a kayak, and that was a fun little sleigh ride. Gave me a pull, took me around the rocks, and
Jeez, I thought you lost him initially right on the rock there. When he took off, he exploded on the surface.
that was awesome. I'm gonna get him back in the water. I want to get another eel in those rocks, see if he's got even a bigger fish up in
That's
there.
awesome, huh?
Nice. Even though the Elizabeth Islands are kind of a special place, this type of fishing, using kayaks to get in along a shoreline and cast a striped bass, there's so many places where you can do this. Rhode Island, Connecticut, along the North Shore of Massachusetts. It's a great way to get to places where other people can't get to, where boats can't get to, and people fishing from shore. It gets you into some really special areas. The swell's picking up a little bit, but I still feel pretty safe in this kayak. Really stable.
I feel good in this thing, really good.
It's a good looking rock right here. This is an area that I would never come into with a boat, because you can see the way these boulders just barely under the surface, waves breaking on them. It's too dangerous to be in some place like this with a regular boat, but with the kayak you can kind of tuck in and fish these rocks. And
here we go. All right, well, that was a really nice take we just picked up on shore. This fish completely spun me all the way around, and it's taking me offshore right now, something I don't really want to do because the wind has picked up substantially. I'm going to see if I can clamp down on this guy. He feels like he may be on the back of a rock, so I'm going to kind of drag me that way and see if I can pop it off. This fish hit about 50 yards off the shore. This guy was out a little bit further. He seems to be, oh, something just popped off. He was just buried on the back of a rock. He just popped off right there. He's free now. I got color now. Now I have color. There he is. Get over here, fella. Oh, come on. I'm gonna go ahead and set this guy in. Try to control him a little bit. Certainly not the fish that Kevin had, but fishing out of a kayak, you can't beat that at all. There we go, right there. Okay. Okay, fella. I got me in reverse. That's another beautiful striped bass right there down along the Elizabeth Islands. Threw this guy in, was a little further offshore on this guy. I'd say about 40, 50 yards. We were catching most of these guys about 20 feet on shore. Beautiful fish, probably about 35 inches, give or take. I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can get a vent on this guy. Okay. Oh, there he goes. During the first 10 years of filming On the Water's angling adventures, I had fished and filmed from Cape May, New Jersey to Prince Edward Island in Canada. But few places have matched the serenity and beauty of the chain of islands that runs from Woods Hole to Cuttyhunk, separating Buzzards Bay from Vineyard Sound, known as the Elizabeth Islands.